Can I trademark my sunglasses brand if a sunglass competitor has one of their many different styles name the same name? So similar questions like this come up a lot where clients or potential clients think that there's a difference between a company name and then maybe a product or a line of products they sell. And in most cases, there's not really going to be much of a difference there because of when you file for a trademark or when they look at what a trademark is, they look at how are you using that trademark and in connection with what type of product or service. So, Nike, for example, has that's the name of the company, but then they have all different lines of clothing and sneakers and other sports equipment. So another company can't go along and make a Nike, racket for tennis or any other sport, because that still is sports equipment and that would fall under the overarching. So don't really think necessarily about it. This is a brand name versus this is a company name versus this is a product name. If there's a relation between what the company and the product are, it's probably going to be an issue. This particular question brings up some other questions that need to be asked. As I say here, a key question is, who was the first to use that brand? So it's not clear from this question as to who was the first user. In the US, we have the first to use often wins out. Now, of course, it depends upon where you're using it within geography, but if you're the first to use, you usually can continue to do whatever you've been doing. So if this person was using it as their brand name before this other company started using a style, and they could continue to use it how they were. And if they file a trademark, that's only going to strengthen their brand. And just depending upon time differences would be whether or not they can send a cease and desist to this company for using it as a style or not. If the company that uses a style was using it first, depending upon where they were using it and how they were using it, they might be able to block this other company from using it as a brand. So I know that that's not 100% clear, but it really you have to look at who was using it first and where were they using it. In this day and age, because most companies are selling on the internet or have some internet presence, it does expand to where they are actually using it, as opposed to, pre-internet days where there might just be a company that is selling in a small town in California, and then a competitor opens up, in New York, and the competitor in New York starts to expand, despite the company in California being the first to use it, they just wouldn't be able to expand to where New York was, and vice versa. The company in New York couldn't get to wherever in California the other company was. These days, things are different because of the internet. It's much easier to get more of a nationwide. That being said, is filing a trademark, whether you file based on your actual use or based on intent to use, gives you use throughout the US that you could stop anyone from using it within the whole US, which is why it's so important to be the first to file and hopefully the first to use, and then hopefully the first to file after that. So that is just, a little bit about this question, which I feel comes up a lot about the difference between the company brand and a product or a style of product, and also whether or not just because someone else is using it, can you file? It comes down to who was the first to use it in most cases. So it's always good to try and be the first to use, the first to file. There is something in the US called an intent to use application, which is when you're coming up with a product name, a brand name. You can file even though the product might not be available for another couple of months, and it starts, it plants your flag in the ground so that someone would have had to use it before that date to have any priority over you. I hope this is helpful. Please, if you find it helpful, give a thumbs up, subscribe to these others. I'm going to probably do this as a new series where I start just answering some of the Quora questions that I've posted answers to and putting them also on a video here so that they can be seen by more others. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.